Hello, I want to give you some tips today about how to do online interviewing successfully and well for you and for your participants. So, my first tip is to share your research questions with participants at the outset. So if you email them to invite them to take part in the interview, attach your questions to the email. They have the right to see that you're not asking them trick questions, and this helps to reassure people who may feel that the word interview denotes something quite formal. If you think about it, it's a word we use for job interviews, police interviews, disciplinary interviews. In fact, quite often when I'm doing research interviewing, I don't even use the word interview. I just say, can I have a chat with you for my research? Second top tip is to offer people a choice of online platform. Some people have particular objections for ethical reasons to specific platforms. Some people have a preference. Some people have easy access to particular platforms. So if you can offer a choice of at least two, and ideally one of those should be open access, like Skype or Jitsi, then that will be helpful for participants. Also, you need to offer them the option of audio only. You can't compel people to use their cameras when you're working with them in this way. I guess maybe if you're a professional researcher interviewing professional people in a professional context, that might be different. But maybe bear in mind that at the moment, given that we're recording in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of people are working from home, and it may not be appropriate for you to insist on visual insight into their home environment. So offer them the option of audio only if they prefer, if they would be more comfortable. And also, tip number 4, be ready and prepared in case you need to use the phone instead. If somebody's tech goes wrong or their internet connection goes down, you need to be in phone contact with them also, if you can do that, so that as a backup you can use the telephone and go ahead with the interview. Then when you get into the interview itself, at the very start, check with your participant that they're still okay to go ahead with the interview, that nothing's happened in the intervening time since you arranged it to make life difficult for them. Be prepared, be willing to rearrange if they need that. Then if they're assuming they're okay to go ahead, the next thing is to remind them about whatever the ethics parameters are that you've promised. If you've promised them anonymity or confidentiality, or if you haven't or can't for whatever reason, maybe you're doing the research for an organisation and they work for that organisation, so it would be particularly difficult. Just make it clear to them what the parameters are about the ethics side of things, because they've probably forgotten by now and they need to remember. Then when you get into asking the questions, remember that a research interview, as the old saying goes, is a conversation with a purpose. And put the emphasis on the conversation more than on the purpose. Of course you want to ask all your questions, but if someone starts answering a question you haven't asked yet, just let them carry on talking. You can fix it later on in your notes or your transcript. And part of this is tip number 8, keeping the participants' well-being firmly in mind. This is really important, and it's a juggling act for us as researchers, because we're always a bit excited about the fact that we're getting our data for our project. This might have been months in the making, maybe even years. And that can override, if we're not careful, our human concern for our human participant, but you need to keep their well-being in mind. If you have visual contact, you need to keep an eye on them, make sure they're okay, not showing any signs of distress. Similarly, if you only have audio contact, and if you hear any signs of distress or see any signs of distress, you can pause the interview and just check in, see if they're okay. Is there something they need? Is there some support you can give to them? Are they okay to continue? Remind them they can stop or drop out at any point if they want to. Then when you're close to the end of the interview, you've asked all of your questions, it's often a good idea to just check that the participant has said everything that they might want to say on the subjects that you've talked about. They might have had further thoughts about something you talked about a little while ago, and it might prompt them to bring in some more really useful information, and it also gives them a chance to have a sense of completeness in this task. And finally, my last tip, make sure they know what's going to happen next. Remind them if it's relevant that they can withdraw their data and how that could happen if they have afterthoughts and decide they don't want to be involved in the research after all. Tell them what you're going to do next with the data they've provided for you and what will happen or what you hope will happen as a result of that. And of course, say thank you.